Good afternoon. It's a windy day, but it's warm, so I'm going to try to get up the north end of the siding done on this shed. I'm going to have some really cold weather here for, I don't know, a week, well below zero for a while. But it is warm today, so I'm going to try to take advantage of that the best I can. You can see I've got the vapor barrier up on the upper section right there. I'm going to try to go across. We'll start at the right here, and we'll just go across right to left. I did want to show you a couple things that I've got. Because of where we live in the country here, we get a lot of animals, whether that be rabbits, raccoons, skunks, all kinds of things. So what I've done is right along the edge right here, you can see I've backfilled the soil up to the edge of the 2x6 floor frame. And then what I've done is I've put this wire. It's hardware cloth, 1/2 inch. I think actually this may be 3/8 of an inch, but I've put it all the way along this side right here, and I've wrapped it around. I go down the other side right there. This should keep any kind of animals out from under this shed, whether that be cats, rabbits, skunks, whatever. There's really not much worse than having a skunk living under your shed and you're trying to work in there regularly and it smells like skunk. Well, so anyway, I've done that. That's my plan. I've also created a kind of a little contraption here to help me support these pieces of siding as I go here. Because I need to lift them up a little bit, up off the ground a little bit, I've created this. And what I can do is I'm gonna actually flip it over, but I'll be able to set that under them and then lift them up or down. Kind of gives me a third other hand or an additional person for help here. Should help me quite a bit. On the west wall, I've kind of started that, and I really had trouble trying to get the siding square and level, and also in the right position to where it needs to be. So I've created this, and it worked pretty well yesterday. We'll continue using it today and see how it goes. As I get the siding up here, I'll show you how I kind of intend on, or how it's been working. So anyway, let's get to work. Okay, so what I've got is this thing kind of set up the way I need it. You can see that it goes really close to where I'm going to be putting the bottom of this siding right here. So it's going to be pretty close, but if I need to come up a little bit, that's what I've got these propane tanks here for. You can see I've got this raised a little bit. See if we can do this with my without this stand falling over. Okay, so you can see that it's raised here in the back. All I need to do is set a propane bottle on. You can see that it lifts that in right there. As I lift this off, lower back down, and I can kind of get that set wherever I need when I get this thing going. So, like I say, it worked pretty well yesterday, and we'll continue on. One last thing I was going to say is I don't know if I can get the camera to maintain right there with so much wind. We'll see if it'll hold. What I am going to do is I'm going to use a ladder. The reason this is as wide as it is, I can put a ladder in here, and I'll have it pressing against, holding that piece of that siding up to the wall, so that it stays in place. So I'll basically have a worker here lifting and a worker here holding, and all I should have to do is just kind of level it, get it in place, and then start securing it. This isn't where I want it right now, but I'm going to get that piece kind of in place there. And then my ladder will just go here and hold the top. The bottom will be suspended. That way the wind doesn't get behind it or whatever. I'll be able to move it and kind of level it where I need it. And then we'll start fastening it on. It's going to be pretty close. Here comes that wind. You can see it's trying to push this back, but that's all right. Now we got that in place. All right, with that being held in place, I'm going to come up just a little bit. I've got this in place where I want it. It's pretty well held. This end is good. That is nice and level, held in place. I'm going to verify it's level again. That's perfect. All right, now I can go to town. Let me pull this back just a little now. The siding is in place. Okay, along this edge right here, we're gonna have trim, obviously, that overlaps. So I'm gonna get this fastened well along this edge right here. Okay, I'm gonna move this ladder a little closer. I'm gonna get that top secured so I can get the ladder out of the way. Come on. All right, that is gonna hold that in place. I'll be able to lower it, get down here a little bit. Set it off to the side. Now, everything on the walls here is all 2 foot center. So half of this groove right here is 2 foot, so I'm hitting the stud every time. Okay, I can reach everything else from the ground. My ladder down. Okay, what I've done is I've shimmed and got this piece of siding to where it's level. Because of the big window cutout on it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this ladder and I'm just going to use it right along the top right here. And I'm going to give myself a line as a reference to where it needs to be cut. That way I will be able to use that as a reference as to what's level across this. Now I can kind of extend that line. Making sure it's level. And use that as a reference to cut my other lines, or cut out for the window. So I'll have that in position. I think the camera is going to stay up much longer with that breeze. Anyway, what I'm trying to accomplish here is get a line. That's going to go across there. And I'll use those as a reference point on where to cut. Obviously, I'm going to have to cut out along the side. I'm going to have to cut that side where the gap is right here. But these will give me a reference on, okay, this is the top and the bottom. From there, what I'll do is I'll measure and I'll mark the other side and cut it as well. Okay, I've got this where I want it. Leveled, cut, everything's in place. I'm going to secure it. Now I can get the ladder out of the way and I'll just start securing it where it needs to go. One thing you do want to remember with this is that you want to give yourself a little extra room to make sure that everything's going to fit. You don't want to put it up, take it down, put it up, take it down. Everything is going to get trim around it. Everything is going to get covered. Any kind of small error you make or whatever in cutting, you don't want to make big errors, and we do want to try to make it as good as possible, you know, set it up as good as possible. But you don't want to be overly freaked out if you're, I don't know, quarter inch off the line or whatever, your measurement was quarter inches off, because it's all going to be under trim. It's going to be caulked. It's going to be painted. Everything. People will never see any errors or anything that's not perfect at this point. Everything is going to be dressed up. Again, like I say, you want to do it as good as possible, but it's all going to be covered in trim. Okay, we got this end done. And we've got the east wall done right here. So with that, starting a little late in the day, I'm going to call her quits today. I got a couple things I need to take care of in the house, but we got about halfway done. So one more good day and I should be able to have the siding up, and then we'll start working on the roof. Thanks for watching.